Why do so many people doubt themselves after taking Reiki Level 1? And actually, probably even after Reiki Level 2, because a lot of people take these classes back to back. Hello, I'm Selene Rodriguez. I'm a Holy Fire 3 Karuna Reiki Master with over a decade of experience. And I'm creating this series of videos here to address an after-class gap. So all of these different things that go on with practitioners after they leave the classroom. And today we're going to be covering why a lot of people face doubt. I had mentioned in my first video that there's a lot of layers to this. Some of this doubt starts with class, and some of the doubt was already there, and once class ended, these things just began to fester. So addressing the part about class. Why does doubt happen? You took your class, you learned everything that you were supposed to learn, you did some of the practices, read a majority of your book in class, so what is up with all of this doubt? The reason why I feel like a lot of doubt actually originates from the classroom is because first off, class just isn't long enough. Reiki is one of the few modalities in this type of field that you can go in and you can get certified really easily in just a day, right? Level 1 is 8 hours, level 2, 8 hours. Once you move up in the levels, they get a little bit longer, but they're still kind of short in reality in comparison to a lot of other modalities. So this is the first thing. It's just not long enough. And because it's not long enough, you get bombarded with a lot of information very quickly. Things are moving fast. It's like, boom, this topic, attunement or placement, practice, topic, attunement, practice, topic, practice. And then it's like, here's the code of ethics, here's your certificate, goodbye. So maybe you can already start to see like where this issue can start to come in. Just lots of info dumping, no integration, no group support, no individualized support. There are practices during class, but for a lot of people, this may not feel like it's long enough. Like a lot of other modalities that you go to, like you normally have a lot of supervision under the teacher, and the practicing may go like in some phases where the teacher's really guiding you step by step, and then in the next phase they kind of back off, let you do a bit of your own thing, and then in like the next part they fully back off and just let you do your thing. But maybe you have some sort of presentation, or maybe you have to do a full-on healing session without your teacher there, but you have to record it and send it back to them for feedback, or you're required to put in a certain number of hours before they hand you a certificate. Every type of modality is going to have its own thing. Every teacher is going to have their own preference, but with Reiki classes, it's not like that. So you go through all the motions very quickly and then you leave, and a lot of classes don't have the support after. Things might feel good in class, and then you get out of class and you're like, I don't get it. I felt so good in class. Class is always going to feel a lot different than from when you get out into, the real world and you're trying to integrate this, and you really weren't giving any direction on how to integrate this. So having all this doubt creep in is extremely understandable. So that's the first problem. The next issue that can come up is for a lot of students, they may also have already had doubt before they walked into the classroom, right? We all have our own things that we're going through and that we're facing. Some have doubt already, some lack confidence. Maybe there is some desperation and just feeling unsure, and then we come into class and we're hoping that class will clear up a lot of these doubts, but it just leaves us with more questions. And like I said, it's a lot of info dump. No integration, no continued support from most teachers. I'm not going to act like all teachers don't give continued support, but I know that a lot of them don't. And it's not to say that anything is wrong with these teachers. This is just how we were trained to run our classes, and so we do it, right? So if you already had self-doubt, you came in, you thought that that could be addressed during class, but it just wasn't long enough. there wasn't even long enough time to really ask all the questions you wanted to ask, or maybe you came up with questions days later with no way to get those questions answered, and so the doubt continues on. Another issue that I see is that some students were facing certain issues before class. That could have been an emotional issue, a spiritual issue, a physical issue, whatever the case may be. And because of all these amazing things that they have heard about Reiki, maybe even some experiences that they had themselves where they were the client and someone else was working on them, whatever the experience or whatever they heard, it led them to believe that if they just took this class, then all these troubles would just fade away. But once they went through class and then left, they realized that they actually still need to be a very active participant in their healing process, right? It can be very disheartening for those that were really holding out hope that some miracle could have happened once they became initiated into Reiki. Reiki is absolutely amazing, and I truly believe that there are endless things to what it can do, but we still have to put in the work. Reiki will not go against free will. And so if there's something that even if we say that we want to let go of it, subconsciously, if we're hanging on tight, it's going to be a little bit of this battle going on of, well, I don't understand. Like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this solving the emotional issue or solving like the trauma or solving the spiritual disconnection, whatever the case may be. And it's because there's a lot of layers that need to be worked through. So that's the first thing. And like needing to be very patient, which I know can be difficult, especially if it's like, hello, I want to work through this right now. But there's a lot of layers, and we have to be very patient and then just hoping that the Reiki can solve the problem without having to put in any other work. And so some doubt and confusion can start to fester here, like, well, I've heard this modality can work miracles, so what gives? And while this can be true, depending on the situation, we will have to put work in. No matter what, we have to be an active participant in our healing process. The human body and energy field is highly complex. So let me just give you some examples of this. There are some things Reiki won't solve. Like if you know you need to be on a better sleep schedule, or you know you need to eat better, or you know you need to use your voice in a certain situation, Reiki isn't going to make it to where these issues will just go away. Reiki can also give you insights into things. So through your Reiki journey, you may be getting intuitive downloads about something you need to do. Maybe you need a full body detox. You need to move your body in a certain way. You need to sing to regulate your nervous system. You need to start grounding yourself. Whatever it is, this could be something that seems big, or it could be something that seems small. If you are getting these insights and you keep ignoring it, well, then you aren't being an active participant in your healing process. So let me give you a more clear example. I have Lyme disease. And while Reiki helps tremendously with the pain and with the emotional turmoil that I sometimes face with this disease, I still have to be sure that I'm eating properly so that I'm being properly nourished. I still need to make sure I'm allowing myself to sleep and actively detoxing my body. Notice I said allow myself to sleep, because Reiki can actually help you sleep. If you are struggling with sleep and also doubting your Reiki practice, do Reiki on yourself in bed. You'll probably pass out. Something else is that during your practice, some things will start to pop up through your journey. And it can be causing some emotional turmoil, like suppressed emotions are coming up, but we're trying to shove them back away. Or maybe through our Reiki journey, we're realizing that maybe there's certain people that we need to cut from our lives, certain environments that we shouldn't be going into, other bad habits that we need to drop out of our lives. And that could be, anything. It could be cutting sugar, it could be cutting caffeine, It could be cutting cigarettes out of your life. It could be cutting the TV out of your life. Whatever the habit may be, all of these things start coming up, and we think that, the Reiki can just resolve this issue and we can just remain as we've always been, you know, avoiding like real, true self care at every turn, suppressing, etc. This is actually the Reiki working with you. So try not to fight this. I know, easier said than done. Okay, so I'm saying all these things, and it's like, okay, so then what do I do? What's the advice? First off, when it comes to the after class gap, well, that's why I'm making these videos. I'm hoping that people will find them very helpful in all kinds of aspects, knowing that you're not alone and that this is actually very common for people to face. You're not alone, you're not crazy. Like, these things are totally normal. Another thing is trying to find some support group. Like, there's lots of different Reiki groups I know that are on Facebook, and I'm sure that other platforms are housing different kinds of support. I've seen all kinds of forums on Reddit that are really great, that you can follow and learn a lot from what other people are saying, see what kinds of other questions and things that people are coming up against, and just all kinds of people are in there giving feedback, which is absolutely beautiful. I love it. So you can find some really good forums to follow. And then, of course, you can drop your own questions within these forums, and you'll get lots of people answering you, which, once again, it's really great, and it's really beautiful that so many people in the community really do care. Something else that you can do is finding people that you can practice with to help you to work through this self-doubt, and this can be done in a lot of ways. Maybe you ask your really close friends or a family member or someone else that you trust, or even just someone who would really like some Reiki, and so they're just willing to kind of be a guinea pig while you figure this out. That could be someone that you work with. When I took my sound healing certification, I practiced on so many people from work, and everybody was totally cool with kind of being a guinea pig while I figured everything out. So you never really know who's going to be willing to help you, especially people who they really want this, they want to experience Reiki, but maybe they can't afford it. And it's like, hey, I'm trying to work through something right now. Like, can I work on you? Can I get some feedback from you? I definitely think, as much as I love to really keep level 1 with a big focus on yourself, like really creating a true self-care routine and a spiritual hygiene routine, I also do think that it is very helpful when we're working through a lot of doubt to work on other people, because then they can give us feedback. But if you are feeling very vulnerable about these feelings of self-doubt, then I would only work on somebody that you really trust. I think that's very important. Other things, it could be possible to reach out to other students that you took the class with. If y'all had exchanged numbers or emails or something like that, then you could contact them. You could even reach out to your teacher who taught you and just say, hey, I'm wondering if you can send an email out to all the other Reiki students and ask them if they would be comfortable having us all exchange information so we can practice together. This is really great, actually, because these are people that went through this with you. They could be facing some of the same issues as you. So this is a really great opportunity to start really practicing and working through that self-doubt. And even having like accountability people. Maybe you don't practice on each other, but maybe you hold each other accountable for doing self-Reiki. Because the best way to work through doubt is to keep doing this practice. Keep practicing. Keep practicing. I promise you, the more that you just practice, the more you'll be able to work through this doubt. But it does take time and patience and self-compassion. The last thing that I'll say is in my first video named I took my level 1 Reiki class, so why do I feel like I'm doing it wrong? I do a practice at the end of that video that helps you to really get into this mode where you're really paying attention to your entire body, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So you can track the changes between before your self Reiki session started and then once it ended. This is a great way to work through doubt. So definitely go back and check out that practice if you haven't seen it already. This is something that can really help you to lay the groundwork to start working through doubt with Reiki. Like, is this working? I'm not feeling anything, things of that nature. So that practice will help you to work through that. I think journaling is another great way to do this. Just keep a journal as you're doing Reiki. If you want to try and do Reiki on yourself every day, even if it's just for like 5 minutes or doing it a few times a week, I would start just journaling and watching how much things are changing. And that could be with yourself. It could be your pain and discomfort in your body. It could be emotional things. It could be mental things. It could be spiritually related. But it can also be changes that are happening on the external as well. So noticing things that are shifting out in your world. And, this can be good, but sometimes it could feel a little bad or like off-putting. There's some things that when we're struggling and we don't want to let go of it, but naturally when we're doing something to raise our vibration, naturally those things just kind of start to fall off. Or we will just like kick habits to the curb like without an issue. Maybe you notice that opportunities are opening up for you, or someone reaches out to you and they want to resolve an issue between you two, close a chapter, give you an opportunity to speak your truth. Whatever it is, just really paying attention to how things out here start to change as well. And you'll notice that as you've been working with the Reiki energy, that it's also been working with you as well. So I hope that you have found this video helpful. I'm really excited to continue on with this series, so definitely give this video a like, drop a comment, follow me, because lots more content revolving around these topics, that after class gap, is coming, and so much more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.